Hello, everyone, and welcome to the another exciting episode of the Sunday Project. I'm your host Suresh Singh, and today we have a truly special guest joining us. Someone whose expertise and the leadership has made a significant impact in the digital marketing and sales field. Today's episode brings you an insightful conversation with Mr. Vinil Arora, a seasoned expert with over 17 years of experience in the digital and marketing space. Vinil has worked with some of the biggest brand and has led the team to the success in the driving digital transformation, growth strategy, and more. In this episode, we will explore his journey in the marketing world, how he navigated the leadership challenges, his thought on the future of the digital, and the key advice for aspiring marketers. Whether you are new to the field and or a seasoned professional, there is something for everyone in today's conversation. So let's get started. Hi, Vinil. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Sunday Project and thank you so much for being here today. I'm thrilled to have you here on the show and can't wait to dive into the conversation, Vinil.
Pleasure having you here, man. It's we've known each other for so long, and I'm glad to be here as a part of the meeting.
That's good. That's good. Let's start straight away. Since
Yeah, please.
you have over 17 year of experience in digital and marketing space,
Yes.
so what do you think that are the biggest challenge that company face when they start implementing digital transformation?
I'll be very honest about it. I spent about 12 years in this digital industry, digital marketing space, predominantly into auto. So some of my answers would be somewhat give you a sense that the options or the outcomes are related to auto in particular. But yes, in
Mhm.
general, when it comes to digital transformation, of lately this term has been used and abused by everyone, and that is predominantly where the challenges lie. The whole idea is not thought through at in a lot of cases, and it's pure peer pressure implementation that we have seen. Digital transformation and digital adoption go hand in hand. So people really need to the people at the brand side, we really need to see what is it that they're expecting out of it. What are the KPIs they're setting out of it? Is it the customer
Mhm.
experience that they're trying to sort from the digital transformation? Is it the internal
Okay.
system interoperability that you're trying to sort? So all of these
Mhm.
things actually
Mhm.
create a bubble. And
Mhm.
when it comes to challenges, what we have seen is that
Mhm.
most of the times people implement the digital transformation journey without thinking what is it, without handling all the scenarios. Are the
What
people
what
aligned?
what
And
they want to achieve? Yes, they are not clear
yes, yes.
about the goal. What actually they
Yes,
are
it's
going
peer
to
pressure
get
just
out of
because
it. Just
their
be.
competition has done this, so we also want to do it.
Let's
Um,
do it. Yeah, and
yeah,
many a
yeah,
times we have seen that we do it. We don't think consumer. We don't keep consumer or customer at the center. We try
yes,
to convince our senior that we are let's implement, let's do the new thing, irrespective of
that's the harsh
that.
reality.
Yeah, yeah. Irrespective of that consumer will like it or not, whether it is going to have any serious implementation or impact on the
Yeah,
business or not. That happens many times. Anyway.
true, very true. So people alignment. The second thing is biggest challenges is the people alignment. Like you said, most of the times it's either just saying a yes thing to your senior, or maybe
Uh,
following what your peers are doing. But people alignment internally is very important. Okay, so if it's a production company, then are the people aligned to adopt that process? Digital, because let's say something. Uh, uh, you've been doing something in a particular way, and now you're trying to do it digitally to solve a lot of problems, but are people really aligned for the thought process? That is where the whole game is, because you know it's very important to make anyone learn, but in this case
mm,
you have to make someone unlearn and then learn, which is a
then
challenge in itself,
yes, it's a
right? So these are the main challenges, I would say, when it comes to digital transformation. People often jump the gun, but it should not be like that.
what I think, and it's like always start with the basic. Don't go overboard, right? I always say that start with the basic and then build upon that.
Yes, that's correct.
So
That's correct.
Yeah. So how do you approach building digital strategy that align with your short-term and long-term business goal?
Now you've just so I'm going to start where you just left. Okay, so think
Mm-hmm.
through. So when it comes to building a digital strategy, right, goal setting is
Mm-hmm.
of paramount importance. You need to
Yes.
understand what is the outcome expected. Be
Mm-hmm.
it a SaaS service, be it a product that needs to be go out, taken out in the market, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, you need to build goals for it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then divide the digital strategy accordingly. Have milestones for yourself. You know, at the end of the day,
Yes.
most importantly, digital strategy, whatever we are trying to make or whatever how we, try to implement, it was all dependent on the end consumer. The consumer can be an internal, it can be an external person as well.
External. Yes.
What is it that he or she wants? The
Mm.
center of attraction, the center of the iota of attraction should be towards him or her. So when
The
it comes
target
to
audience. Yeah.
me as a scenario, so for me, let's say I predominantly break it down into two, three parts. First one is customer identification. It is very important when it comes to digital strategy. Digital is like an ocean. It's very easy to spill over the money, and it's very important for you to be
Yes.
very precise in your targeting. So customer
Yes. Yes.
identification is the most important thing, and followed by efficient ways of reaching out to them. you know uh, I would say the last 5 years have seen significant improvement in tech. The leakages in the funnels across the ecosystems,
Mm-hmm.
the growth
Mm-hmm.
of D2C brands has further fueled this up, right? So it is
Yes.
equally important when you're creating a digital strategy. It is equally important for you to understand the technology advancements that have happened that you may
Mm-hmm.
use. And often people, even at both the sides, I would say, be it at the publisher side like us, or maybe even at the brand side, it's very important to have in-depth understanding of what is this technology, how is this process going to help me. So
Mm-hmm.
superficial understanding will not get you anywhere. So even in my team, I try to give them examples and give them, motivate team that, why don't you go in depth and understand why are we doing it, or why are we not doing
Mm-hmm.
it. So the deployment has to be in phases. So that's how I
Mm-hmm.
built the digital strategy.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. That's nice. And this should be the approach. I feel that this should be the approach. So as you in the start you said in this conversation that consumer should be the centerpiece. What role does consumer experience play in the entire ecosystem? And if I say play in successful digital transformation.
Perfect. A very valid question. So look at Instagram, look at any
Mm,
other meta product, look at
mm,
any digital publisher site, right? You
yes,
would
yes.
see voice of customer being given a lot of importance. Okay, so
Mm,
this
mm,
consumer or the customer actually matters the most. Okay, so when I say what is the customer experience, so if the customer is happy, you would see a lot
mm,
of positive notion around your offering, and which
mm,
will actually give a very positive effect to the in-market buyers or maybe the next set of people that you want to target, right?
mm,
Uh,
mm,
but on the flip side, if you're not having a good customer experience, it can be in terms of before purchasing the product, during the purchase of the product, or after the purchase of the product. If there is problem anywhere, it's very easy for anyone to have a negative rub off. Like there are brands we all know. I would not name any of the brands right
mm,
now, but
mm,
which are have fantastic products, but their customer experience is not great, which
mm.
eventually leads a lot of people, dropping out of the funnel, not taking
Yes,
this
yes,
step ahead
yes.
only because of
Es-
this. So
Especially in the
customer,
auto, it is very important. It's a high value
yes,
product that they buy, and
yes,
and
because
there are a lot of emotion attached to the car.
very true, very true, very true. So that is why we say that all these things, pre-purchase, during the purchase, post-purchase, everything has to be sorted. Now it's not a magic wand, right? Not everything will improve
Yes,
overnight,
yes,
but one
yes,
needs to
yes.
understand and keep on plugging gaps where they
The
are.
gaps. Yes, yes.
So
Very true.
that's
Very
the
true.
thing that, so customer experience at any stage is very, very important.
So you also talked about your team. I have next question related to that. How do you foster innovation within your team, especially fast evolving industry? So innovation is a big word. but I would
Yes. Yes.
understand how.
Yeah. So innovation, like you rightly said, right? It's a big word. In my sphere of work, I don't work in R&D. That is where
Hmm, hmm,
either a
hmm,
new patent, if there is a new patent filed, I would consider that as an innovation, right?
hmm, hmm,
If there is
hmm,
new
hmm,
technology that I build, if there is certain thing that I end up, saving the code,
hmm,
maybe improvising on the code, that is an innovation. In my sphere of work, innovation is more about the thoughts innovation, right? How can
hmm,
we
hmm,
better it every single day? you know
hmm.
I tell my
I
team,
can improve.
yes, so very
Hmm,
important. So
hmm,
my in our field of work, right, when it which involves meeting a lot of people, right?
hmm,
So the fostering of innovation actually means how you can foster your relationships and ensure that every time you add value to your conversation, that is an innovation, right? So if you reach out to a person, I always want the other person to say, hey, I want to meet this guy because he will add some value to my knowledge, right?
hmm,
So
hmm,
one needs to have that approach, and the day you succeed in doing that, you are innovating
hmm.
every single day, right?
Great,
So I
great.
tell my team, work on this, work on relationships, and it is does not, and relationship is not, does not really mean that, if you have to go out, wine and dine, it doesn't mean that act.
Hmm,
You need to
hmm,
add
hmm.
value, you need to help the consumer,
Add value.
your,
Yes.
your friend, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So so what I feel like, what I've done it in my personal life as well. I don't have to invent the wheel every time, right?
True.
Whatever is there, I have to improve a bit. थोड़ा थोड़ा improve करना है next time so that I can get better result. And I also
Very
need
true.
to think that what value I am adding it to it. So just doing a regular stuff will not give you edge over competition, right? Even in the
True.
office, if you have to prove yourself, uh, you have to add value to the project. You have to add value to the relationship, and this is
Yeah.
how the entire world work, even in your personal life as well. If you don't add value, then it would be right.
Redundant नहीं होना कभी भी.
हाँ, redundant नहीं होना. Very true, very true. Uh,
Yeah.
can you share any example of difficult decision you made as a leader and it had a big impact on your team?
Yeah, I'll be very honest. I was very lucky. I've been very lucky to have superiors that have always supported my style of working, and I've been lucky
Hmm.
enough to have teams that understand my style of working. So
Great.
I try to have my style of working implemented everywhere. So
Hmm.
I am not really a micromanager, but yes, from a thought perspective, I try to give out that thoughts to people. And
Uh,
during this journey,
hmm. Please.
you often need to take decisions that are difficult.
Hmm.
So and thinking on the long term, right? Sustainability, long term relevance is very important for me. So every single day when I get up, I think that how will I make myself more relatable, more sustainable, more viable in the
Hmm.
coming days. So in
Hmm.
that case, you need to often take calls around people who don't gel up on that thought process. So it's not the problem right now, it's the problem. The problem sometimes lies in the future. I'm not sure if you've seen
Hmm.
the movie MS Dhoni, where Sushant, actually,
Hmm.
there's a notion, the statement that says that they
Yes, yes.
dropped some senior players. So that's actually reality. And when I had to take those calls, then I realized, man, that what he said was actually true. And it does give a negative impact internally, but then people who are aligned with you tend to understand the core reason behind it. And it's a short term setback of sorts. People in the industry, whoever know me, they know that I'm very, very selective in whom I want to work with. And
Hmm.
if there is a, and I've been a very valid, logical, I've always tried to be a very logical person all through my life. So if there
Hmm.
is a decision that I have to take, if there is always a logic behind it. And
Hmm.
always hope that people understand.
Hmm. 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 I want to know more that you said my style of working. Can you highlight two, three key points that I can learn or my viewers can learn from it? Because managing people is the most difficult part. You can deliver the work, you can do X, Y, Z, you can go to Mount Everest, but managing people, it's a next level skills that you should have. So, what are two, three key points that you want to share with us?
So uh, uh, people management, right? When I started this work in this, I was not from this industry. Okay, so I've always been an outsider here when I started my career, right? And
mm,
the I still remember when the person who interviewed me, he said that, will you be able to manage? And I promised him that, sir, no matter what happens, I'll make sure that nothing, no escalation comes out to you. So
mm.
people management has always been my skill. So one
I
needs to be
know.
patient. uh, One
Mm,
needs to be patient in whatever he or she is doing. I don't see
mm,
that patience, unfortunately, in a lot of people, but I try to imbibe and give that gyan to people that, boss, don't come to a hasty decision. You should always stay
be
calm and
patient
think over it.
and
Yeah.
stay
And
calm.
yeah,
Mm,
but yes,
mm,
when it comes to in general, then in
mm.
totality, when it comes to people management, right? People management is devoid of any skill. It doesn't mean to you need to be from IIT or IIM to have good people
Yes, yes,
management
you
skills.
don't. No.
What you need
It's
to do is,
imbibed in you. If you practice it,
yes,
it
you
will
need,
go into your blood.
yes, yes, you need
Yes.
to understand where the other person is coming from. You need to have
Mm,
empathy in you, whatever you are doing, right? Now there
mm,
have been instances when it's maybe a tech work, but it's for my BU. Then I end up staying every night in the office. Man, there have been days and nights, and I've stayed at 2, 3 at night because of moral support. I have no work doing there. The tech team is doing their
mm,
job, but still, out of
mm,
moral support, you are there. And that is where people end up reciprocating in a similar way. They understand.
mm.
So people management, that is what I tell my team also. Work on those skills. People management is very, very important. On top of it, I also tell people, that you should work on the in-depth study of whatever you're doing. Just don't be superficial. If it's sales, if it's tech, understand what is there, understand what is new. So these are the two mantras that I live with. And people management, like I said, it's not unfortunately, it's imbibed in you, right? So
Yes, yes, it
you
isn't.
can only bring that character out of a person. If a person does not have people management skills, it's very difficult. But yes, most of the
Mm.
people who have a high emotional quotient understand these things and try and improvise on that.
So you said that you are not from this industry. So I would like to understand where you were and how you landed here.
Well, that's a long story. Uh, I'm a automotive personnel by education. Okay, so I'm a mechanical graduate and automotive postgraduate. Um, you
Okay.
know, uh, when I graduated, I think that was way back in 2007 when the Infosys and Accentures of the world are on a hiring spree, and you have a herd mentality. That let's go there. It's gonna be great out there.
Mm, mm,
And suddenly when I joined Infosys, I realized it's not my cup of tea. Coding is not something that I can live with. And
mm,
I went abroad for my high studies. And
mm,
then the recession time was there. So in which as I came back, and I thought I always wanted to do something of my own. So
mm.
I initially founded a company, D&D Engineering Services. It is a
Okay.
French name of what's next. Okay, started off
Okay.
as a single employee, had and eventually left the company when it was 22 people odd, and with one more co-founder.
Oh.
uh, and my sole inclination was to get aligned myself with auto, because auto is
Mm,
something that I love
mm,
the most. And
mm.
given this, when I came across this opportunity, so it was like something that I would at least get closer to working in auto. So
Mm, mm,
I started myself as an operations guy because I wanted to understand the back end of it. And then
mm.
because business development is something that I've been doing for my startup also, because you have to sell the idea, and
Yes.
being the sole, the person who started off with it,
Mm,
you have to do
mm, mm.
everything, right? From invoicing to pitches
Yes,
to
yes,
deck and everything. So I've done
yes,
this all through my
yes.
life. So and the sole, I'll be very honest, the sole reason for me was to be aligned more with auto. And somehow I think that I have sustained and done fairly well in that case.
No, you are thriving, not sustained. From my perspective, you are doing good.
Thanks.
Yeah. So coming back to the question, what advice would you give to emerging leader in digital space?
So I see a lot of young folks here.
Mm,
They're high on energy, high on octane. They're really nice, and I
mm.
get to learn a lot of things from them.
Yes,
And
yes.
the advice that I would generally give to anyone and everyone is, right? That go in depth. Don't be superficial in your understanding. uh, One needs to focus more on their interpersonal development, right? If you are a sales guy, just don't work on the sales pitch. You should
mm,
understand what the strategy behind it. You should understand, work on the
mm,
decks. You should not work
mm.
on silos. Don't be dependent on anyone else to give you the data. You should
Yes,
have that audacity and the aspiration to learn yourself, that even if
yes.
tomorrow I'm left alone, I should be able to pull it
Mm.
off. So
Pull it off.
that's the only feedback, and my advice to younger generation would be.
Yeah. So a lot of time people say that when any task or anything is stuck, a lot of time they say that मेरे को वहां से कुछ नहीं आया. I mean, it is
Hmm.
not my job. Why should I do it? That approach actually kills the entire essence of the project, and it slow down the entire process. And I also feel the same that if you think that if you can add value or if you can pull it off, you should go ahead and do it without
Yes.
hesitating, right?
Yes.
And obviously you have to maintain the decorum. You don't have to fight. It's just
No, no,
that
fighting is not.
yes, 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 this is out of the question actually.
uh,
That is the skill that you have to master.
no, so
uh,
this is where people management comes in. Either you
yes,
manage the other person to get the work done for you, or you are
yes,
capable enough to do it yourself.
yes, yes.
One should fall for his or her own mistakes, not for other anyone
Mm,
else's.
yes, yes, very true,
That's
very true.
that's the motto that I live with.
So, so moving to the next section. Uh, so on the industry trends, what digital trend do you see shaping the future business in next 3 to 5 years?
Okay. Like I said, my inputs may be somewhat linked to the current sphere of work that I do, which is predominantly
Auto.
auto. Yeah, but
Yes.
yes, I see the consumer experience improving significantly in the next 5 years. It's going to be
Mm,
an outrightly immersive experience for a lot of people, and
mm,
that does not just mean in consuming information on internet. It also means experiencing or engaging with the brands in the particular. It
mm,
can be even the showroom visit, for that matter, the test drive visit. Everything is going to be very immersive, very digitally driven. A lot of people are working on the right pace and the right manner. uh, and it's, and today we get hounded by a lot of spam calls, right? So
mm,
customer
mm, mm,
experience is going to be a lot. Trust me, a lot of people are working on improving that single point consumer view, wherein you talk logically to a person in the journey, not having conversations started again and again, which really degrades the customer experience. So that is one thing that I think is going to be very, very, you'll see a lot of changes in the next 5 years. Secondly, when it comes to any strategy, be it digital, be it TV, be it OTT, be it print, everything is going to be very, very outcome driven. It is for now, but it's going to be even more heavily outcome driven. End of the funnel
mm,
measurement is going to be there for every planning sphere when it comes to marketing.
mm, mm, mm,
And
mm,
the most important part is the stronger infrastructure. I think infrastructure point of view, you will have a lot of people improving the entire infrastructure of
mm.
showcasing the product to people
Okay,
in with the constraints that are available in the market. It's going to be taken care of. So
okay,
these are the
okay.
three areas where I feel the most of the advancements are going to be.
Yeah. So from the answer, there are two things that I need further clarity. You said that it would be more digital driven consumer experience. If you can give me a couple of examples. Second, about the spam calls. So how do you manage it? So as a person, and I have also seen in my peer group that when we get a lot of spam call, either most of the time I block that number, you know, and
Hmm.
in my phone there are around 800, 900 numbers. Those are blocked, right? I've stopped getting calls actually, those spam calls. How a business will deal with these kind of situation? There are two questions.
Okay, so I'll answer this one first. Okay, most of the people, Unicorn needs to understand, uh, people don't have a lot of time to answer
Yes,
the question from very start. Okay, so let's say I
yes.
I give a brand a customer that, boss, this person is looking for this particular car, and
mm,
this is something that he has compared on the platform for.
mm,
This is where he had visited the journey. This is where he left the
mm,
journey. He is based out this
mm,
place. If all that information is given to the brand, and when the brand connects itself that, we know that you've done this in the past,
mm,
then the person feels connected. You're basically holding my hand from where I left my journey, right?
mm, mm,
And so a lot of brands are whatever are working is they're trying to collate all of this data from all over,
mm,
so whichever sources are possible, try to
mm,
get insights on where the person is, and then take the journey further. Because otherwise what happens is that, let's say today call a customer, sir, let me help you. The brand also says, has the same questionnaire again, that, sir, what cars
mm,
are you
mm,
considering,
mm, mm,
what is your
mm,
buying price, what is your buying
mm,
time.
mm,
So
mm,
at the end of the day, person starts to feel frustrated that I've answered this so many times, why do you want to ask that again and again? So the
mm,
day this gets
mm.
sorted, I think a lot of, you know problems with respect to the
The
spam calls.
experience will improve. Yes,
Yes, that's number one.
experience will improve.
Number two is the understanding. When it comes to a true caller per se has sorted a lot of things,
Mm,
but again, um, when I get a call from the customer, from someone, if there will be technologies wherein we should be able to communicate at least that why is it this call for. Uh,
mm, mm,
there are scenarios where I unfortunately end up missing calls from known people also.
mm, mm,
But because my profession is so that I'm unable to take calls from a lot of calls from unknown numbers, right? So
mm, mm.
uh, this is something that is there, but people are working on it, and this has to go in compliance with the privacy rules and regulations, right? So
Yes,
as of
yes.
now, there's a whole black box around it, but we will soon see a breakthrough in terms of what can be shared to people, how we can connect with people, and more
Mm,
importantly, I expect a lot of digital transformation to happen when it comes
mm,
to um, uh, connecting with the call. Okay, so there will be steps involved before qualifying a customer for a call. So today, if you go, you have an option to connect on WhatsApp.
mm,
Uh, I think that is one of the core mediums that we have also been experimenting and have seen good results out of it, wherein we try and understand the intent of the customer. We try and understand if the customer is okay
okay.
for us to give him a call on this particular day in this particular time spot, and we've seen that there are
Mm,
significant growth in the positive. I would say the CSAT, right? We say
yes.
customer CSAT,
Mm,
customer satisfaction scores, right? So
mm, mm,
we've seen a lot of improvement out there.
mm.
So
Yes,
that
yes.
is one thing.
That's a very, very valid point that if you give him an option that please call me so and so day and so time, so he will have time to listen to you, and he will have time to explain himself to you that what is the problem, what is the deal that he is looking at.
Yes, yes, that's true. That's
Yes,
true.
yes. Yeah.
So,
And
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
please, you were saying.
So other thing is that, whenever we are working on the brands also, so
Mm,
all the data that we are transferring to them, now this behavioral data is also started to flow back to us. So we also
mm,
know, that where this customer is, has he visited the showroom or not? If he
mm,
says he visited the showroom, then we try and understand that how was his experience, because not every customer is okay to give a positive feedback on, on that spot itself.
mm,
So we
mm,
try and understand market intelligence around that, and try to give reports to and feedbacks to brands that, this is where you are lacking.
mm. Okay. So that's interesting way to improve both way. So if you improve the client outcome, automatically your business will improve. That's a
True.
great strategy. That's a great
That's
strategy.
what you have to do. Like, we are not reinventing the wheel.
Yes,
We're
yes,
just trying to
yeah.
optimize as much as
Improve.
possible.
Yes, yes,
Now,
yes.
not at the cost of him, and obviously, the when we come to optimization, it is not necessarily improving the cost or the customer
Mm,
acquisition cost. It is also
mm,
improving the customer experience. It is also improving the
mm,
conversion rate. It's also sorting about the
mm,
problems. So there are a lot of elements involved there, and we try and step in and contribute in wherever possible.
mm, mm. Obviously, if only 200 leads can deliver the result, why to deliver 1,000 lead?
Exactly,
I
exactly. You need
understand.
to cut the
Yeah.
noise. You need to cut the
Mm,
noise from the ecosystem. That's what. And this is where the most of the technological advancements will take us through. The
mm,
AI, the machine learning logics that are happening right
mm,
now, these
mm,
this predictive analysis, behavioral
mm,
analysis. A lot of people are implementing that. In fact, as we
mm,
speak, we are also, we have also gone ahead and deployed a certain level of AI on the portal that we work for. So
mm,
the main idea is to cut this noise, to create
mm,
cues, understand the behavioral patterns of the people, and
mm,
improve the customer experience and conversion parallelly.
mm. Yeah, yeah. So you missed the first part that I asked. The digital will be the center of the consumer experience. Uh, so can you give me a few example? As in,
Okay, so when it comes to when I mean what I mean to say is, if a customer is going to the any of the store, okay, and
mm,
imagine
mm.
you understand that when you everything is linked on a unique ID, right? So the phone number
Yes,
being
yes,
the primary key in most of the cases. So
yes,
imagine a
yes.
scenario when walk into a store, give your phone number, and understand, and the customer sales executive already knows that what is it that you've been doing online
Ah,
in this particular way. Uh,
yes. From where
Basically
he
helps you.
left.
Yes, yes. So
Mm,
imagine that scenario wherein you say, yeah, for a consumer it means like you understand me, you know where I'm coming from,
mm,
and
mm,
then
mm,
there is a much more meaningful conversation that happens.
mm.
So that is
So
where the whole.
I can imagine, yeah, sorry. So I can imagine if I go into a showroom and if I have compared two different model and the end consumer know that what I was comparing of and he can prepare his pitch accordingly that this car has these USP over that model.
That's true.
So that will help in closing the deal in better way.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So,
mm.
hard selling days are gone.
Yes.
People who nowadays are educated enough, wise enough.
Mm.
So, and it was there used to be a term like जो सस्ता वो बिक जाता है इंडिया में, अब ऐसा नहीं है. It's the value
अब
for
ऐसा नहीं
money.
है
हाँ,
वैल्यू फॉर
अब ऐसा नहीं है. It's a value for money quotient, right? Is that particular product worth 10 lakhs? Is that particular product worth 20 lakh rupees? What are the other
मनी
options that I'm getting in this particular
हम्म
space? So you need to have a
हम्म
consultative selling approach towards it, which can
हम्म
only happen if there is a data transfer, obviously as per the rules and regulations. Then but you need to have an profiling of a customer, which is going to happen and which is seamlessly possible through digital, because that is
हम्म
where the whole
हम्म
systems can connect with each other real time. From a medium perspective, digital is the only medium that can enable this, and
yes
all of these is
yes
focused towards improving the customer experience and not anything else. So
yes
that is
yes
what I meant by customer being the center of the core
हम्म
value of the offering.
हम्म that's good. So how do you keep up with the rapid changes in the digital marketing and ensure your strategy stayed relevant? I know most of the part you have already said in our
I
previous
tried. I
conversation.
tried.
Yes.
So I try to do that every I whenever I go out for people to meet people, I
Mm,
try to understand that what I take a cue from them, that what is it that
mm,
because we essentially meet a lot of marketing folks, right? Which
mm, mm,
we obviously meet a lot of other people from different spheres of
mm,
life. So we try to understand what is it that they have come across,
mm,
and we obviously, if have a clue, then nothing like it. If not, then we also try and understand what is there. So for I'll give an
mm,
example. So hyper local targeting. What exactly is
mm,
hyper local targeting? How is
mm,
it beneficial? How does it different from what we do? All of these things
mm,
really
mm,
matter a lot, right? So uh,
mm,
to keep up with the pace, I try to learn, and by learning, I take cues from people out in the market. I end up
mm,
meeting a lot of people who are in this sphere of life, try and
mm,
understand what is happening, and thankfully
mm,
I've made a lot of friends that I can always seek information from. So by information I
mm,
mean
mm,
obviously guidance on what is happening. So be it
mm,
programmatic, right? Be it
mm,
GDPR guidelines, be it
mm.
the privacy laws, what is happening out in the market.
Yes.
So this is
Yeah.
something that
Yes.
we try to learn from a lot of people around, and
Mm,
whenever the time permits, we try to learn, just Google it and learn what is new happening in the, in the market. So we try and do that.
mm. Hmm. That's nice. That's nice. So coming to the next question, in your opinion, how will AI and automation, the future of digital will impact? I mean, how it will impact the digital marketing? Although it is impacting in lot of ways, but specifically to digital marketing, how it will impact?
So, like I said in the previous conversation, right? It's gonna be everything is gonna be outcome driven now.
Yes,
Measurability is
yes.
becoming the core focus of whatever and everything that we're doing. So, AI and machine learning. Machine learning has been around. And AI, I would say, is a very improved version of that.
Hmm.
It's gonna impact for sure, but and the core focus is not going to be on I would say rather the core focus is going to be on automation of a lot of things, doing predictive analysis about behaviors. This is something that I've
Hmm.
already touched upon. So this is going to
Hmm.
definitely impact, rather impact is actually a negative word. I would say it's going to improve the efficiency of the
Improve the
ecosystem
efficiency.
of the
I agree.
ecosystem
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and I trust me, we are humans, right? So if there is something that machine is going to take care of, I'm sure we people will find something else to work on.
Yes,
So
yes.
I foresee a lot of new properties. By properties, I mean the
Hmm.
ways of engagement coming in the future in digital space. Just
Hmm.
like the rise of OTTs, connected TVs, you would see a lot of
Hmm.
other ways to,
Hmm. Hmm.
very improved and I would say efficient ways of how brands will connect with people.
Hmm. Hmm. So, do you have any of the example to just to bring some more light on it?
Okay,
Anything
so
that you? Hmm.
like I said, I mean, I can't give you the exact numbers, but yes, when it comes
No,
to
no, it's okay.
implementation
Hmm.
of AI, we have seen, we have gone ahead and done some experiments on AI, and predominantly towards behavior modeling. Uh, what we understood is that with that, we have been able to bring in about 20% efficiency in the entire
Oh,
ecosystem so far.
that's great. That's
We've been
great.
able to, so we have been able to reduce the number of uh, calls also significantly,
Hmm.
and purely basis the profiling of the customer and all that is all dependent on the AI that we've
Hmm. Hmm.
created in house. So
Hmm.
and then this is something that we've done in the recent, and it's just been in years, and if we have, I see a lot of potential out there to further
Hmm.
improve
Hmm.
and tweak on these things.
Hmm. Hmm. When you say that 20% improvement, and you have also reduced the number of calls being made to the consumer, the second part, which every consumer, every person out there is like, uh, there would be a significant impact on the job market, right? If you are improving it and if you are reducing the number of calls, in a way you are reducing the cost of the acquisition. In a way, you are reducing the job in the market. How do you see it will impact, and how do you see that over the period of time, how we will, as a human, will cope with this kind of this is kind of so negative connotation may I'm just trying to put
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, see, when it comes to digital marketing space, AI will take a lot of space, especially
Mm,
when it comes to efficiencies. That means I have saved cost in a lot of areas. I've improved the customer experience, and
mm,
I've also somehow reduced the manpower cost also. So there are a
mm,
lot.
mm,
So this is, I can't just keep my eyes shut and deny that, it's not going to happen. This will definitely bring
mm,
an impact.
definitely.
Uh,
Mm,
uh, the impact, the severity of the impact is something that it's we are not really at a stage to ascertain that. If
mm,
every process will become automated, 100% automated and AI driven, that's not going. We can't really commit on or comment on that as of now. But yes, there will be scenarios where we will see some of the trimming happening
mm,
because of the efficiencies that are being driven through these. So I'll give
mm.
an example of, let's say, creative work also, right? So you have you have AI working on creating images. So
Changed completely in the
yeah,
creative
so
part.
yes, so imagine there is a scenario when there is a scenario when a lot of creative work is taken care of by AI. But again, the core essence will still continue to be with the human, because of the piracy and the trademark issues. I think not it's not like entirely gonna be moved to AI, but yes, there will be efficiencies in some parts of it. That is definitely gonna happen, which unfortunately hints towards maybe cutting down on manpower or maybe resources in the long term, not really right now.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
And
So one question which I sorry.
this just reminded me, I mean, even with this, but what has really happened is that Google, in particular, all the search engines in particular have started to recognize the value. They don't really value the content that is created by AI. So
Okay.
what happens is that, let's say I may have a website with about a million pages, but if it's all AI generated, my
Hmm.
pages will not rank. So Google still,
Okay.
and it's going to value a lot on what has been done by the human, because there is a
Hmm.
human element. It's not really a mismatch
Hmm.
or actually a collaboration of information from across the internet. So impact, negative impact in terms of human cost cutting. I mean,
Hmm.
the trimming of the manpower will happen for sure,
Hmm.
but the core
Hmm.
work will continue to be driven by human, because there is a AI does not have emotions, right? So
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
humans are emotional,
Right
and
now it doesn't have, but maybe in future when
well, we'll
generative to
see,
general
when it
AI
comes.
when it will go. Yeah.
We'll see when
Yeah.
it comes.
So, so I'll just quote a small example. I am reading a book called with the name of The Coming Wave. It is purely on the AI and how the future will look like. So
Okay.
there was a project that Google was doing, and I mentioned that in my one of my LinkedIn posts, that one of they opened it for all the engineers, and one of the engineers was spending too much time with the AI.
Hmm.
And one of the question that he asked, "What are you afraid of?" That
Hmm.
AI said that I am afraid of that I would be shut off any time. I mean, it's like I know that this is my fear, and
Hmm.
इससे बड़ा डर मेरे पास है नहीं, मतलब मेरे को बंद कर देंगे कभी भी. I mean, it is like that. And that engineer, what he did, he helped AI to hire a lawyer to file a case against the Google and this thing, that this AI is not just the AI. It has a
Huh.
cognitive mind,
Mind.
and he's awake. He knows that what is happening around, and
Wow.
it was like a hair raiser for me. I mean, my whenever
Huh.
I think of that situation, it create problem. I mean,
I am getting chills from it
not
right now.
problem. I get sometime get feared that how the future will look like. And the second question that I am not getting answer, I will ask with from to you also, that how the future job would be if the AI and automation will take a lot of part of the the human resource job, then how the future of job would be, what the coming generation will do.
A very valid question, and unfortunately, even I don't have a
Yes.
right complete answer for that right now. But yes, I do foresee a lot of trimming happening. A lot of, uh, you know, the exact as and when human is also an outcome-driven person, right? So
Hmm,
if
hmm,
the outcomes are happening, then obviously one would try and modify and improve on the resources that are available. It's fairly this is something that we expect coming out
hmm,
in terms
hmm,
of
hmm,
people getting redundant in some areas, right?
hmm,
But yes, what will be the extent of it? Even I would not be in the right position to comment on it.
hmm, hmm. Okay, okay. Anyway, let's see how things shape up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So next section is about the advice and learned lesson from your 17 year of experience. If anyone who is looking out to go into a digital space and want to have an impact on the digital space, what advice would you like to give to him or her?
Okay, so the first advice that I would give is that be very clear on what you want to do. Have
mm,
goals for yourself. Have
mm,
aspiration.
mm,
Otherwise, otherwise it's very difficult to get lost in the ecosystem in the transition. If you're taking a journey, then be very clear on what you're traversing on. Have
mm,
goals for yourself, and then work on it backwards. If
mm,
I've set a goal, make short term and long term goals for yourself.
mm, mm,
Otherwise, it's very easy to either get dissuaded that this is not working out. This is not
mm,
something that I wanted to do. Be patient, right? Be humble and be open for feedbacks. If once, even if someone who starts the journey, right? It's okay to fail. Be open to that. Don't take failures in a negative way. It
mm,
happens, but needs to bounce back. One needs to understand why it's happened, right? And then work on it. uh,
mm,
then one needs, like I said, one needs to have the right attitude and aspiration. That is
mm,
very, very important for anyone to succeed.
mm,
Most importantly, give time to the people that you love. Stay around
mm,
with them. It can
mm,
get a little disturbing mentally. In
mm,
today's rat race, we've seen that people are losing a lot of time. Uh,
mm,
and I look at myself, right? I see myself spending about 12, 13 hours in office every day.
mm,
But at least at the weekends, I try to give all the time to the family. So give
mm.
time to family, give time to loved ones, and then be and in parallel keep that attitude and aspiration alive in yourself. Work towards it relentlessly. That is how one will succeed.
So family support is important, and you have to be always open for the feedback.
Yes, that's true. Very
Yeah,
important because
that's true.
people unfortunately don't take feedbacks very positively. A lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One needs
Mm-hmm.
to understand that.
Mm-hmm. Um, anything you want to share that there were moment in your career that things didn't go as per plan, and any lesson learned from that?
I think I did give you a sense on that. So if I look back from a professional career point of view, I had no plans of getting into this industry. Trust me, when I came into this industry, I did not even understood what a website was. I've always been either a tech guy. I've been doing programming. I've tried a lot of hands on those things, but yes, then I also understood that I need to un- understand and learn what is happening right now and try and find happiness in it. So one needs to.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest lesson for me is it's good to have aspiration for yourself, but be realistic. Don't be hell bent that
Be
I only want
realistic.
this, right? Be
Mm-hmm.
realistic in approach and find happiness in what you're doing and do whatever you're doing, do it good. Make the value, derive the value out of it. So that you remain sustainable and important throughout the ecosystem. You should contribute towards whatever you're doing. That is the lesson that I've learned. You know, whatever you're doing, do it well, do it to the best of the capability. That is the
Mm-hmm.
only and only mantra that over a period of time probably I've learned, and I'm still improvising on that. Uh, yeah. So
Stick to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is where I'm coming from.
One, yeah. So last question that I want to ask you. So to your start, it is related to your startup only. How different you are if I compare it with the other competition in the market? Any one or two key points? If from a client perspective, if a new client you have to acquire, what is that you pitch into them? That this is how we are doing different.
Okay. So we are similar yet different in a lot of ways. Okay.
Mm,
Um, we are similar from the area of operations that as per the competition, right? So
mm,
both
mm,
me and
mm,
the competition work in the similar space, but the
mm,
way we handle our audience is something that is completely and completely reliant on machine learning.
mm,
Okay. And with the implementation of AI, it's
mm,
started to show really, really promising results. uh,
mm,
we have spent a lot of time in understanding the marketing part of the business, so we understand what is the right audience. So when it comes to me versus other peers in the market, we understand the funnel better, is what
Hmm.
we try and promise to the client, right? And we know, and from a business perspective, we have actually diversified ourselves. We are not really into auto, and that too digital. We have also diversified ourselves in a non-auto space as well. We have also
Okay.
ventured into the financing space of the business.
Hmm.
We've
Hmm.
also ventured into the commercial vehicle space when it comes to refurbished and
Oh,
selling the products on the. So
oh, that's
there's
great.
another brand. Yeah. So like, you have Spinny and Cars 24. We have also tried to
Hmm. Hmm.
forayed into the commercial vehicle part of it. So
Hmm. Hmm.
in totality, we are also trying to diversify ourselves as much as possible. We are also focusing and, in the process of getting or launching a new brand altogether, which is not related to
Hmm.
auto. So we're
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
trying to do a lot of stuff. I'll come back to you as soon as the product
Yeah,
is
yeah,
out.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's nice to hear that.
So yeah.
So yeah, you were saying something.
So auto is there. Auto is going to be the love of our lives for sure. But we're trying to
Hmm.
diversify as much as possible in the auto. And now we are also venturing into the auto space as well.
So on a personal front, what two things that you think you want to do and you haven't done it yet?
Yeah,
I will answer this
that's a
question
tricky question.
after you.
There are a lot of aspirations. No, there are a lot of aspirations that people have. So for me, professionally, I would say one of the things is that I want to go through that fundraise. We have not raised funds yet. Okay, so I personally
Hmm.
want to go through that phase of approaching the VCs and going
Hmm.
that circle of grilling.
Hmm.
On the other personal thing that I want to do is I want to go back to riding. I used to ride a bike when I was young, and I've left biking long back. So, but I want to. This is something that I really want to start off again. So these are the two things, man.
That's nice. That's nice to hear that. I mean, one is professional one is the personal one. That's nice. So if you ask me, so for me, the biggest is like, I want to spend more time with the family.
Hmm.
So traveling Ghaziabad to Gurgaon is like hell. I mean, it take a lot of energy.
True, very true,
That
very true.
is the one and only thing that I aspire for at this moment, right? And the second, from the professional fund, if you ask me, I actually have not reached to my full potential, and it's like that. I always want to improve, and I always is open for a bigger challenge, and this would
Yeah,
always be there. Yeah, yeah.
very true. This is actually very important. If you
Mm,
the moment you stop, if you are content with what you've done, your growth will
mm,
stop,
mm.
and
Yes.
no growth is actually equivalent to degrowth, if I have to say.
Yeah.
You know.
So this one thing I would just wanted to just tell you, the right. So I've not told this to a lot of people that I started not from a digital this thing. I started in a retail. I am from a retail background. Then switched
Hmm.
to digital. I started digital in a sales. Then I went to client servicing, then planning, then strategy. So this is how I've changed every time.
You've
Every
donned a
time I
lot of
switch
hats,
job, every time
which
I
is good actually.
switch job,
Uh,
it's a kind of so now I feel that it's not a ideally people should not switch a lot of hats, a lot of tables. Reason being, you are not considered specialized into a particular this thing. When you able to hear me? Hello, your screen is freezed. So I was saying I've switched a lot of tables. So in a
hmm.
way, I feel like I'm good to manage the business, but in terms of specialization, if you ask me, a lot of people perceive it like that I don't have a specialization. That's a
Hmm.
drawback. What I feel at this moment. Anyway,
Yeah, I
so
understand.
so this is it, Vinil. I would say, I mean, thank you. It was very enlightening conversation with you, and let's see when we connect in future again.
Yes, we will. We will. We will definitely. Suresh, thank you for having me here. It was an absolute
Yeah,
pleasure
yeah.
talking to you.
Yes, same here. And we hardly get time to have conversation like this, but in a way that this I'm trying to connect with a lot of people to get their point of view and to understand how things are going on.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. It's a very good initiative, man.
Yeah.
It was
Thank
lovely
you,
being here.
thank you, Vinny.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
same.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye.